see. Let's follow.
So here we go. Without music, we had to remove the music because we are going to be muted if we have the music on in certain countries. So I just took it away. We fixed that eventually with something else. We figured it out. But anyway, welcome everybody today, and it's Wednesday, October 9th. Wow,
Mhm.
I always say that.
I
I'm
know.
amazed how fast this year approaches and goes on, right? You
Mhm.
are watching the Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with on Cosmic Guardians with hosts Anne and Corrine. And today we are welcoming our beautiful, uh, very well educated special guest, Adelinah, who has been on our show multiple times before. We are going to talk about Masaru Emoto's Odyssey, the sacred dance of water. And of course, not only Masaru Emoto, but also Veda Austin. Plus, we take your questions and we give free mini readings for anyone who wants. And I always say that no one did request any free reading yet, but we are here if you want to. I take that as a good sign because obviously we are talking about something very intriguing. That's good. Our last show on Cosmic Guardians was the brand new Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanics show with host Bob and Ann. And we were live on Friday, October 4th in US and Europe, and Saturday, October 5th in Australia. So now we have to cover the globe. And that's wonderful. And we did talk about the power of words. Our last show on Cosmic Sis-Stars Show was with hosts Corinne and Anne, and on Wednesday last week, October 2nd in US and Europe, and Thursday, October 3rd in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. in Australia. But anyway, we talked about divine bonds, the dance of sacred spiritual relationships. And that is kind of a fascinating topic too. It's very important because I think the number one question is about love these days.
Mhm. Mhm.
And how can we reach? If you missed our last show, want to catch up with any of our past episodes, connect with us or read more about us, you can find us at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. So you find all of us in there. And we always go live at facebook.com/cosmic guardians and youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth. Well, I think I'm done now talking, right? So let's dive into today's topic. Welcome Adelina and welcome Karine, both my beautiful
Thank you.
sisters, right?
Thank you.
Yes.
So, so who wants to start?
Well, let's let Adelina start.
Okay. Okay, we talk about Masaru Emoto and Veda Austin, and we are talking about um, water, and we are talking about fire and earth, and also a little bit of air, mostly water. And I had the opportunity, 2007, here in Stockholm, to meet Masaru Emoto in person at a conference at big conference center in Stockholm. He was on a world tour, and Sweden was the last country on his tour, and he was here with his wife. And I don't know how many people, there are hundreds of people in that conference center listening to him. And he was such a lovely person, so kind and so funny. And he spoke good English, and he introduced his wife. His wife was there with him, and he showed us picture of his new grandchild, his first grandchild, and his cat, because he loved cats. So he was very personal, and then he started showing his on a big screen his work, the water crystals. They were frozen because he was a scientist who had a group of people who still work there. Masaru Emoto passed 2007, but his work is very much alive. And his sons, the Hiro Emoto, and the other one is called also Hiro something. I have forgotten his name. Hiro Emoto is a managing director of his company that still is working with water, and almost all his employees, when the time when he passed 2014, are still working at the company in Japan. And Masaru Emoto and his team found out that the water has got intelligence, and water hears and sees and understands everything that we see, that we do and say and do and think even. And he proved that by taking pictures in a special camera before freezing the water, and water built water crystals like ice crystals. And when the word was positive, the crystal was beautiful, and when there was negative talk or negative word, they initially put a word under a water bottle or water dish. They used laboratory dishes, and they put the word or a picture under it, and then the water built a beautiful ice crystal or an ugly ice crystal. And this is what became really big. This was a big invention. He was called at least once to United Nations to speak about his work and show what he had come to. And as I said, it's fantastic that his legacy is still there, and people are still finding out what is going to happen. And I should say that that initiated my interest to water and all the elements and what we can learn about it. And Masaru had, what I'm regretting, they were selling all kinds of articles, pictures from his water crystals that you could put under a water glass. And so I couldn't buy anything, but there were so many people that on the break it was impossible to come close to these things. But I have regretted that I didn't buy anything. So Veda Austin is a researcher from New Zealand. She has come out the last 5-6 years, or is anyone having not? I haven't seen her before. She's on Instagram mostly, and she has developed a very much different freezing modality. For her freezing method is much shorter than Masaru Emoto's, which means that the water isn't building ice crystals. It's showing a picture, and it's just on the verge of freezing. So she has understood that not only the water takes a copy of a picture, or water doesn't take a copy of a word. It's often also an interpretation. It's not a copy. So water can give something more that is not being said or shown. And once Veda's small daughter came there and asked her mother, "What is the phoenix, the bird? What does it mean? What is it?" And Veda answered that she had this laboratory dish there with water. She was about to do something else with that water. And her daughter interrupted her. And then she froze the water. And the water shows a phoenix bird going up and flying and burning wings and so. So water listened to their discussion. Mm-hmm. And that is incredible. If you think about it, we are talking with people. We have 65% water in adult person's body. And this water in our bodies is listening to what you say, what you think, how you feel, and what you're
Talk
reading, what
to
you're looking.
yourself, how you talk
Yeah,
to yourself and others. That's very
yeah,
important.
how you talk exactly. And this water, if Masaru Emoto said negative words, those water crystals, they were lacking pieces. They were black and so, and the positive words were most beautiful, like stars. And if we negative and cursing, like many young people curse. I don't know how it's in America, but many
Oh,
young
yeah.
people are cursing. Every other word
Every
is a
other word.
curse. Yeah, yeah. And you think how it affects the body. And where do all these viruses come? Where do all these people get ill suddenly? Where does it come? And how can we heal? And maybe we start by our thoughts and our words.
Yeah, it's very important. It's vital. There's
Yeah,
another
because
aspect of self-talk and what you say to
yeah.
yourself.
Masaru Emoto had a word that in Japanese it's called hado.
Oh,
And
yes.
hado means a wave or vibration.
Hmm.
All materia has an own vibration, a hado. So everything, even a stone has a hado, but the vibration is very slow. And water has a very fast vibration. So how should I say? You can do lots and lots of things with water. And Masaru
Yeah.
Emoto's, what I find most interesting, and I think that Karine can tell a lot more about it. His experiments with Japanese lakes. There was a lake that smelled very bad, and people who lived around it they complained because they couldn't stand the smell. And Masaru gathered a big group of people to pray Japanese Shinto prayers around the lake. I don't know how many months they did it or if they did it a year or more. But finally, the lake water was clearing so that it doesn't smell anymore, only by prayers.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
holding hands and praying around the lake.
Hmm.
I have something to add here because it's a very short story. It's a personal experience. I said it before, but I'm
Yeah,
going to say it again.
please do.
I was I was at a spiritual gathering 2005 at a castle outside of Stockholm for the weekend. We talked about many things. I don't remember exactly all the things, but one of them, we made an experiment. I think we were 10, 15 people. So we had two big cans of water. One of them, we all focused the energy and we blessed the water. The other one was only natural as it was, right? And we were tasting it, all of us. We could all feel the difference. It's amazing.
Hmm. It's interesting. Uh, humor is only humorous if it is not causing ill, and sometimes uh, we say things and do things that are really not for the highest good of ourselves or others. And one of them was a friend of mine gave me a cup, and due to the fact that I'm stepping really high on the ladder of life, and it said something like this. It said, I went to the room to get something. I got in the room. I forgot what I came for. Is this my cup? Oh, gee, I got to go pee now. And it's funny. It really is humorous. And, I mean, there's been times when you do walk in a room. Well, what did I come in here for? However, I'm not going to put my water in that and carry it around, enforcing that concept on my body. And people will wear things and do things, but especially when you attach it to the water, you got to be careful what you think and say. You really do.
Exactly. What do you think about this Hado and Masaru Emoto's work? I know that you, Karine, you have been following him for many years.
Hmm. Oh, well, once I was privy to that information, and that book literally fell off a shelf. when I was in the bookstore and said, "You're reading this now?" And I go, "Absolutely." It made a lot of sense because I work with vibration. I work with energy, and the words we say carry an energy. And in Sanskrit, it's the vibration that really makes the difference. It's not the word you're saying. In the Aborigines, they work with sound also, and they will make sounds over a person and change the molecules in the body. So if you realize that this intelligence that is beyond scientific explanation, literally, it is the only molecule that scientists cannot explain. They can break the atom and they can talk about, little twerks and everything else in quantum physics, but they can't explain how water works. And to have it be the gift of life. I mean, we can live without food for many, many days, but we cannot live without water. And such a gift that we forget about. And we need to remember the teachings of our indigenous friends and the sacredness of water. Sacredness. And when we do that, we're going to have a different sacred look at our own being.
Many native tribes, they worship water, and I have a beautiful film. I will put it in my website with Algonquin women. They are singing a special water song to a stream.
Well, they
And
understand that water is the living entity that goes through our sources. You look at the water as it's coming on a map, and it's spreading out as it goes into the ocean. Look at our circulatory system. It's the same. It's the same. And they have great reverence for it and respect. And right now, in fact, and I think every month or so they have a meditation where they invite everyone to come and give that energy back to what gives us life.
Green, I think you said that you met Mr. Masaru Emoto.
Unfortunately, he passed. I have not met him, but I met him through spirit. I met him through a deep understanding of how intense and how important it is. And I mean, even now, if you were to walk through my house, anything that contains water has words of love, compassion, joy, healing. And people will say, well, why do you write all over your bottles? And I said, why not? Even pure water that they say comes from the glaciers. We don't have glaciers anymore, people. So this water, this water is being tweaked along the way. So what we can do energetically is more powerful than anything. So do it.
I believe so too. Yeah, that's true. And I think that we are also there are a few people understanding how much we can use water for healing, how much we can use other elements for healing. And there are a group of people like you, the group where you belong, Karine, who are working all the time. I mean, you are working for these things, these water things and everything. And to be in a group is more, how shall I say, more powerful than Anna and me when we are on our own. But everything is important. Whatever you do, even if you're alone, it's important.
It is important because we are sending out frequencies, vibrations, and good energies. It's so important.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, when we talk about the intelligence of rain, and people see the American Indians doing a rain dance. Now, indigenous people all over do this, but I know more about the American Indians because I'm right in the middle of it.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I go through the Pima Reservation to get into Phoenix. So the beauty is that they do not pray for rain. They pray rain. They are talking to the rain. They feel the rain. They smell the rain. They hear the rain. They envision the rain as it touches the plants. That is what they do in their rain dance. They're not going, rain come, we're calling you, da 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 da. They give reverence to the rain. We know that you are an intelligence and we are asking for you to share with us, but they don't pray for the rain. And in fact, the American Indians went to the Olympics in London, and they didn't pray for sunshine, but they prayed, they asked, and they envisioned that there would be sun through the Olympics so they wouldn't get rained out. And guess what? It worked.
Even Greg Braden talks about this.
Well, Greg Braden is the one that I got that story from.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I got that story from. Yeah.
Okay.
He's good. It's like the Indians, they don't, as you say, they don't pray for it. They just
they be it.
Invoke it. Yeah, they become it.
And
that happens.
That's the way with anything that we do energetically. It's not that you I've been really good. Now please give this to me and I promise to be better. No, that doesn't have any effect. It is, I see myself as healthy. I see myself as being successful. I see myself as being of service to others. It is in the seeing and the being, not the doing. We are human beings, not human doings. Okay.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I told before this program started, I told Anne and Corinne about Dennis Lynn, who is my teacher. I met her twice. And now I'm going from water to fire, but I think that it's important to talk about this, how much a group of prayers and healing can do. Because for a few years ago, she lives in Northern California, and there were big fires around, and police came to her and her husband's farm and said, you have to go because the fire is too close, and maybe you don't survive here tonight. So they took the dog. They couldn't find their cat, and then they left the house. They had already packed the bags a couple of days before, and they had to be away for 3 weeks. And at the same time, Denise sent to all her followers, she sent a mail or information. It was not a mail, but it was on Facebook. And she said, please.
Request.
Yeah. Yeah, request. Please pray for us, or whatever, according to your faith. Send us healing. Send us visualizations that everything is good, that the fire doesn't come here. And when they came back 3 weeks later, everything around the farm was burnt. Everything. There was not a tree, nothing. The fire had taken everything. And the farm is high up on the mountain. So it was mile after mile after mile. Whatever they saw, it was burnt. There were no trees, nothing. But the houses were totally as they were. The fire hadn't taken anything, and the grass was green, and the flowers Denise had planted were flowers. So obviously, the collective praying and sending healing had helped. And they had to leave their cat behind because they couldn't find the cat in the house. And the cat came and met them on the door 3 weeks later. And firemen had used the house because it was the only house that was left. And they had seen the cat and given food for the cat. So the cat was also also there. So when I think that people or let's say Facebook friends to Denise saved her home.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is an important story to think about when we are stepping into the energy of worry, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Because we feed the energy we focus on. Therefore,
Right.
we need to focus on the outcome we want to see, not on
Mhm.
the worry part, right?
Exactly.
Everything is
yes.
possible. Everything.
And yeah, and
Exactly.
just now, the more people focus on the storms in southern USA, in Florida and Louisiana, I think it was bad. These floods and everything. The more people focus on them and seeing and visualizing and sending prayers, the better the outcome. Maybe we can save more people or more animals and more houses and homes.
Well, it's interesting because in my meditation group, for the last 2 weeks, we send healing energy to the whole area. We when we send it out and it's sent on unconditional love, that means wherever it needs to be utilized, it will be utilized. If it is in calming the winds, in balancing nature, if it is in saving the people, wherever it needs to go, it goes because it's given freely. It's not specifically for one thing. And it's interesting because Greg Braden, on his Facebook, he was asking that people also hold this divine energy in just simplifying and bringing peace and harmony, not changing it. And somebody wrote back and says, well, you can't change what nature does. That's not what we're doing. We're not changing anything. We are just putting love and balance and harmony back in the atmosphere, that the normal sequence of hurricanes that bring the water to the areas that need it will do it gently and not
Yeah.
ferociously.
And
So,
to sum that up, Corinne, that's really interesting because the bad weather now is about, of course, it's wind also, right? And maybe other elements, but
mhm,
water. We're talking about water here, water
absolutely.
crystals, and how water is intelligent, how it resonates with everything. Mm,
So
bang
if we
on
speak
it.
softly to this child that is having a temper tantrum, maybe it will just calm down and say, well, I can bring you water and I can play nice, because now I know that it's okay. See, so we gotta, we gotta hug it and tell it that we love it, we appreciate it's doing what it's doing, and the force that it takes just to suck up all of that water and carry it. We just need to have it in a calmer way. So
Exactly. What do you think about? I got a thought yesterday that what if all elements are intelligent? That the fire is intelligent and can be directed, and earth is intelligent,
well,
and
why
air
not?
is
Air,
intelligent.
yeah.
Air, yeah,
Why not? Why do we think that we are the only ones that carry the intelligence? Just because we
yeah.
have
But I mean,
flexible
we are
thumbs?
talking about water intelligence. Why not all four elements?
That's what I
Yeah,
said. Why not?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Why
I
not?
mean, in Hawaii, they assume that the fire that comes out of Pele is a living entity. And why should we make a judgment in our limited capacity at this point of
Mhm.
judging something? And as I said, just because it doesn't have flexible thumbs doesn't mean that it's that
Yeah,
it's not even more intelligent than we are. So,
exactly.
you
I
know,
live high up and I see the weather changes, and I love it. I live on the seventh floor, and the house is on the hill, so I see everything. But I haven't seen the northern lights because my balcony is facing south, and the northern lights have been on the north side. So there have been so many northern lights this summer.
Yeah.
And I don't live it's not far in the north, so this is also interesting. The northern lights are showing so many
Yeah.
times during this summer,
Yeah.
and
And I
yeah,
missed all of them. Sorry to say.
you miss all of them.
But I know that they are there, so that's important.
Yeah.
Oh, just using the excuse of that bum leg again, huh?
Exactly.
Oh my God. What more
Sorry.
was there to say? Oh,
I interrupted with you. I always do.
Hey,
yeah.
listen, that's
Oh,
that's what makes it. I mean, hey, listen, when we get together and have coffee, isn't that what it is? It's a sharing of the minds, and this is the beauty of it.
yeah.
Exactly.
But I
Yeah.
was
Then it's also,
go
yeah,
ahead.
it's also interesting that at all people are having their own interpretations of what's happening, and they have own experiences. That's why it's so important to talk to each other and change the experience
Yes.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
But by talking in a positive way, with what we really want to see positive, yes,
Mm,
we can change so many things, but we need to be persistent. And maybe, like, I think you, Corinne, said that we can't change the weather or we can't change this and that. Well, eventually we can, but we need to
yeah,
be
we can.
persistent. We can.
We we don't change the system. We change our perception. We change our energy, and then it becomes where it flows into one season and then to another season, and it's not dramatic, it's not violent, it's not, you know killing everything, because it's just like in our body, we have to have balance and we have to have harmony, because if we don't, then one organ is going to say, well, I'm not happy and I'm going to have a temper tantrum and I'm going to do this and this and this, and then I'm going to disturb all my neighbors. But if we bring that harmony, and that is one thing that I loved about the Hawaiians. I mean, every indigenous people do this, but the ones that I'm more familiar with, Hawaiians and American Indians, and the Hawaiians would have Ho'oponopono, because they knew that if there was disruption in the village, it was going to disrupt nature, and it was going to disrupt the times that the rains came and the times that the storms came. And by putting that harmony back into our lives one by one, and then person by person, and then group by group, we change the consciousness. And when we change the consciousness and the energy, then the elements are going to say, hey, we can live with this. We can do what we need to do. And it's important that forests burn, because that's how they regrow. The charcoal that is given to the forest after it burns is wonderful. It just, we don't want it completely consuming everything. So we need to stop consuming ourselves. We need to stop being the cancer that causes our planet to be in disruption. Hey,
That's
babes,
what I think. Yeah, you're
back,
right.
back
You're
to
right.
us.
And I thought so too, that there's a war going on in Europe, in Middle East, almost a war. There's so much violence in the world. So of course the climate and the water and the elements, they react on that.
Mhm.
So we need to have peace.
But we can't have peace if we don't have peace within ourselves. And and we
No,
can't
exactly.
and we can't have peace if we also keep looking at all the horrible things going on and going, oh, this is terrible,
Mm,
rather than saying, this needs to, basically, it needs to be flooded with love. Now that sounds a little superficial, but if everybody were doing that, if we were teaching our children in school how to get along with each other rather than competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my 2-year-old granddaughter doing deep breathing. Now she didn't really understand it, but she'd go because that's what she thought I was doing. And then as she grew, she would tell her little brother when he was having a problem, she'd say, "You need to take 3 breaths now." you know? But if we just incorporate peace and teach
Yeah.
peace,
Yeah.
because I guarantee you, children do not come in with anything but love and laughter and smile. And that is an international language. And then we decide that they're going to grow up and they're going to this, and this. So, just.
Exactly. And you know, what we experience, what we see outside of ourselves in the world is a reflection. So again, like we talked about a million times before, right?
Mhm.
We need to go in here and change and talk, affirm, do our best, focus our attention, be aware of where we are focusing it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I met my old Reiki teacher for 1.5 years ago, and she said, "Oh, please, Adelina, don't watch the news."
Don't watch the news. And that doesn't
Yeah.
mean you don't care.
No, I
You can
read them.
watch,
I just read,
you can
but
watch
I don't
it.
watch.
Yeah.
Mm.
Watch this. I mean, you don't have to be living on a mountaintop. You can see, just don't engage in an emotion other than, okay, I'm going to send love there. Don't go, this is horrible. They should do this. Somebody needs to do that. Because we are given the responsibility to be the observers and be the ones that recognize that this is an imbalance and do something about it. But if we respond by saying, oh, well, we're going to go after those guys and we're going to go after these guys, and it just feeds it, because every emotion that we have when we're watching the news and we get upset, we get angry, that's feeding the monster.
Yes, it
Learning to
help
watch it
anyone.
with detachment,
Mm.
you know.
I have
Exactly.
I haven't watched the news at all after that, and I only read a little bit, so I know that if something's coming here or where I live or something like some,
Mhm.
I mean, I know, okay, there is so and that's happening there, but I don't go into it. I don't go uh, emotionally
Good.
in that kind of
Yeah.
news with fear.
Yeah. And you know, ladies, I do the same. I just keep myself updated, that's it. And I don't dig into the details,
Right.
right?
Yes. Well, back to that magical water that we've been talking about. I love the way that you put this out here, all of the wonderful importance of it, how we can't live without it, the cellular function. It keeps us temperature regulated. And I will give you a for instance with the metabolical. Um, one night I woke up and there was a difference in how I was responding. I got up and I was lightheaded, and that never happens to me. So I did go to one of the clinics and had him check it. And the first thing he asked me, he said, "Are you drinking enough water?" And I realized, no, I got busy and I hadn't, because water is going to keep everything going. And I wasn't having a heart attack, I was having a water attack.
That's good to remember.
And another
You
thing
know,
that
I have,
another thing
uh,
that I have learned that we don't think about, because we get all this pure water that we buy without sea salt, not the salt that we have in America that's full of chemicals, but like Himalayan sea salt, real sea salt. If you put a fourth of a teaspoon in a gallon of water, it is going to make it saline. And we are salt. When you go to the hospital, they don't give you pure water. They give you saline. And
Yeah.
I have been putting a fourth of a teaspoon in my water that I buy, and I have seen an enormous difference.
Mm.
You know?
I have to tell you, ladies, in Greece, and you probably know this, because the Mediterranean Sea is very, very, it's full of minerals, it's full of everything, salt,
Right.
very, 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 very salty. So the Greeks actually, and I didn't buy it from the beginning, but now I admit that they are right because I tried it out myself. If you have a wound that doesn't heal very well, or you
Yep.
have something else, it heals because the sea, the ocean, is
Yep.
full of minerals and everything else. Many things that maybe it's hard to put in your water. Of course, you don't drink the salty water from the ocean,
No.
but it can heal you and it makes your skin fantastic.
Yes. If I ever get a cut anywhere on my body, I'll soak it in seawater because that's one of
That's
your first
interesting.
defense.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I even one time I got a bad cold in the summertime in Greece because we were going with a boat and we didn't have any place to they we couldn't buy seats in a cabin, right, or a bed.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of sleep outside. There was no space inside either. We had two kids, so we put them in the middle, and my ex-husband then he was on one side and me on the other side, but I was the only one getting sick. I had such a bad cold, and they said to me, "We go to a place and you have a swim and you gurgle yourself in
Yeah.
the water where it's
Yeah.
clean." And I said, "Are you crazy? I'm going to catch pneumonia." But I listened. I pondered on it for a day, and then I actually went there and I did it. And I can tell you, a few hours later, I was better. My cough was better. I didn't have a sore throat, and my nose was not
Hmm.
running anymore.
I
So
mean,
seawater healed you.
yeah,
Yes,
in the
yes,
dark ages, and I come from the dark ages where we didn't run out and get a pill for something, and you had a sore throat or you had a toothache, you gargled with salt water. I mean, that's just what you did, and
yes.
oh yeah, I'm telling you, water is the thing, and if we don't have the water in our bodies to keep us lubricated, I would hate to think what all the creeks would sound like, and
Yeah, exactly. I was not. I was not growing up by the sea. I was growing up in the Lake Finland. There were older lakes, and the
yeah.
nearest seashore was some 500 kilometers away to the south. So, but my uncle was a fisherman. So I was. He had three boats, so we were always somewhere on the boat
Yeah.
and on the water.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. But
That's
it
wonderful.
it
Mm.
to help you heal in that way, it needs to be quite salty. So somehow, like it is in the Mediterranean, right?
Yeah.
Or
Mm.
if you do it at home, you can rinse your nose. I have one of those, like a
Yes.
big syringe. So I
I
rinse
know.
my nose
I
when I
know.
have.
Yes. So,
Really?
this is wonderful, but just adding back to that water, just that small amount, and you don't taste it. I mean, and there's no way you can. I mean, it would kill you if you drank pure salt water. But just putting back what they've taken out, uh, it makes a difference. I notice that I stay hydrated a lot longer. I notice that I don't get thirsty as much, and I just when I found that, and I go, oh darn, I could have had a little salt in my water. I have one of those types of things. But eureka,
Yeah, and
every
You
little
don't
step.
you don't have
it,
sea in Arizona. Do you have lakes? Nothing like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, we have lakes, but they're man-made lakes. Um, but no, when during the pandemic, when they were sending pictures of everything and would try to do this fear thing, they literally had a picture of a California beach and said all the people in Arizona are going to the beach. They're not staying in quarantine. And I'm going, I don't remember California falling off. I mean, they say that it's just what's going to happen and we'll have beachfront territory. But I said, I don't remember that. And and people that aren't familiar with Arizona, no, we do not have any area that touches. So
Okay.
Texas
So
touches and Mexico touches, but we're kind of up a little bit from that. No, we are very definitely inland.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So other things that water helps with is metabolism, how we digest the food, right?
Absolutely.
Lubrication and cushioning of joints and organs, right?
Huh?
Detoxification.
Yep. I'll tell you, if you don't sweat, and especially in Arizona, fortunately, we don't have a lot of humidity. And when we sweat, then it evaporates. So that cools the body off. I don't mean 30, real cool, but I mean, at least it keeps us from dying. But when you stop sweating, uh, like a paramedic will come, and if that person is not sweating and it is whatever Celsius it is, that's the highest Celsius you can get, they know that person's completely dehydrated and they are having a heat stroke. So this is very vital. Without water, we cannot survive. And
Right.
unfortunately, that's why so many countries that are devoid of water are trying to assimilate countries that do have it. But
Yeah,
you know, people, we need to have that respect. We need to bring back the balance. Um,
Yeah, it is. Plus, it holds spiritual properties and healing properties, right?
Absolutely.
And intelligence.
Yep.
So
It
if anyone didn't see the work of Masaru Emoto or Vera Austin, you are so very welcome to join us. And I'm going to see if I can find some links here. I think I posted them, to be honest, both on Facebook and
yeah, yeah,
it's really interesting. It's something to think about and to dive into because it is real. It's really
yeah.
real. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
truth.
I have been on both websites, and I can assure that it's actually very interesting to go and read a little bit there on both Masaru Emoto and Veda Austin. It's mind blowing.
and folks, it doesn't take effort. I mean, it takes a little effort to do it. It doesn't cost money,
No,
and you get many benefits. I mean, just start putting love, write it on the glass you're drinking. Get a piece of paper and a piece of tape and put love on there, put peace on there, uh, put healing on there. Just start, because it works. It works. It's not something you have to go and get an education for. And as I said, it doesn't cost any more than picking up a pen and writing on something. And
exactly.
and sometimes the easier things are, people stay away from them. Well, must not have any value if it didn't cost me $1,000. It, listen, it's your life, folks. It's your life.
Mhm.
It is. It is
Yeah, what
life.
if you heal? What if you heal when you put the word love under your water glass
I, I
accidentally?
I
You
even
may
have
heal.
I have signs outside on my water that I use to water my yard. I have signs on the spigot of nutrients and healing and everything else. I want
Yeah,
the water that comes and touches my plants to be as powerful as it is before we contaminated it. So it please involve yourself.
I remember for many years ago, I was following a Swedish, he was a healer, but he was also dowsing person. He was not at all well known. I just got his name from a friend who was moving away from Sweden and said, "Oh, this guy is getting so. You know who I'm talking about, Lars. He's going.
Yes,
He's
yes,
going
yes,
to
yes,
have
yes.
meditation evenings and so." And he was a healer also. And I have still his compendiums. He had an experiment with water. He had put water in the microwave and water to flowers with the microwaved water, and then normal water. And
Yep.
of course, the microwaved water killed all the flowers. And the other water, they made the waters to the flowers thrive.
Yep.
So he had many experiments like that, and he was sitting by the sea with a friend and blessing water, and he was an incredible healer. He and I was with him with a group once around church in the center of Stockholm, and we were trying to find a water. How does it say water underneath the ground,
Yeah.
like water stream underneath, and there was a church around also, and we were going, with these dosing rods, and he didn't say where the water was. So suddenly the rod went like that at the same time for 10 persons.
Yeah.
So we knew,
Wow.
okay, here it is. And he showed us a map, and we had got exactly where the water was, deep down in the earth. So you can find water like that too.
Yes. Wow.
Yep. Yep. And it's interesting because the underground water, and we take that out because that's where we pull it from, and it will actually cause the earth to cave in because those underground rivers and everything. And many years ago, I came up with this idea: instead of making dams that hold the water, why not find a way to let the water seep into the sandstone and replenish the underground water instead of just keeping the water here, which destroys all the land around here and everything else. But nobody listened. you know, I,
No,
I was a little ahead of my time.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he was, I think it was around the time when Masaru Emoto was getting well known in Sweden. So he was blessing water, this guy, Lars. And we were also having a water class in holding it in our hands and putting positive thoughts and positive words on it. So it was really interesting. And he saw there was a guy who had young guy who had never been there before, and Lars went to him and said, "Do you have a scar here on this part of your back?" And this guy had a very thick jumper on him. So how do you know that? Well, I see where the blood has been on your back,
Oh,
or where
yeah.
the blood has come out.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was not water, but it was liquid anyway.
But it's
Oh.
way, it plays a bigger role than we give it, to be honest. Because
Yeah,
as we said in the beginning, we can live without food for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be without water.
3 days.
It's
No.
essential.
1, 2, 3. 3 days. There we go.
3 days. If you think about it, babies come, they swim in water in their mother's womb.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah. So the water starts from there, from the
That's right.
beginning. Mm.
That's right.
And actually, babies contain the most percentage of water
Yeah. Yeah.
until they reach a certain age, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we start drying out. What can I say?
Yeah, that's true. We
Oh,
have to
that was
drink more
funny.
water.
But did you know that infants if you take them to swimming class, I mean, little tiny babies, and drop them in water, that
Yeah.
they will know how to stop breathing and conserve their energy. They immediately know how to
Yeah.
survive in water because they developed in water.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah,
They are small fishes, actually.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how uh, we disregard all of the things that are so vital because we make a judgment that they are lesser than we are.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
when we get to a point where we no longer judge by saying, well, that person must be rich because they're driving that person must be worth nothing because they don't show all the signs of prosperity. This person has the wrong color skin. This person, that society must be. But I will promise you, in all honesty, that all of the corruption, all of the wars, all of the things that we are seeing only involves maybe 1% of the world's population. It's just blown up because
Yeah.
you can go to any country. If you meet that person just face to face, they want to live, they want to feel joy, they want to raise their families. They're not interested in all of the other crap that 1% is interested in. So we have
Exactly.
we have 98% of the world that wants peace and harmony, folks. So why not
Yeah.
take our 98% and start getting off of our duffs and just sending love?
Mm.
Changing our water that we drink by just putting a simple writing on it. Change
Yeah.
how we speak to people. Uplifting.
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
walk around with all of these signs that we think are funny. I'm a or I mean, it starts with us.
Yes. It starts with each and every one of us. And one
Yes.
person can make a huge difference. I want to read something from Vera Austin actually.
Okay.
She says it, I
Please
put it
do.
up here on the video so you can see
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
Water water is the rebel element. It won't conform to the laws of physics or
Nope.
gravity,
Nope.
and it can't be killed.
Uh-uh.
Without it, there is no life. It reincarnates for all to see, and science tells us it came to Earth from outer space. Rebellious, non-conformist, eternal, and alien. Just look at the power we are filled with. Beta Austin. That's a
Hey,
good one, right?
Mm,
speaking of
it's a good
that,
one.
there are things that survive in the desert that are typically dead. They look like a rock. They nothing. Even animals will do this. Completely dead. And you rehydrate them with what? H2O, and they come back to life.
Really
Uh, d- you know, I'm
Yes,
telling you.
that is
interesting.
intriguing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is way more. I think that in our world, as human beings, we are a little bit convenient. We take things for granted.
Yes.
Um, I grew up from the middle 60s, right? When I was
Hmm.
born, and of course, I'm a product of my environment and what I've been told, and school and everything, and no matter where you are in the world, we have conventions, we have culture, we have family culture, we have traditions that are this way, you should do that, all
Hmm.
of those things. So I think it is time for each and every one of us now when we are seeing what's going on, right? So we move forward, start believing. I have a feeling that what I was told maybe wasn't really how it really is.
Well,
To be
complete.
bold, Yes, to be bold enough to follow through, right?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and I grew up in the middle 40s. So
Oh,
okay, there's an interesting thing going back to the indigenous people. Uh, we are in the sixth sun or the sixth season, and there is traditions in all of the Native Americans, and you can see it on their Sanskrit. I mean, on the writings on the walls and everything else. That when the earth begins to die and when the animals disappear, there will come to be the rainbow people, where all nations come together as one: the red, the black, the yellow, the white. We will then realize that all of these differences that we have imposed upon ourselves are not the basis of humanity. And I see this more and more and more and more, where people are stepping beyond their perceptions and their cultures and their restrictions, and understanding that this is a fellow human being and we are here to bring that peace. So sometimes there has to be a lot of house cleaning in order to get things moved out so we can bring in the others. So always
exactly.
remember, we are on our way to a wonderful time. This isn't doom and gloom, folks. And that word Armageddon, it literally means change of direction. It doesn't mean doom and gloom. It means change of direction. So we are given this opportunity to change our directions. So
Yeah.
again, I invite you, get off your whatever, put down your whatevers, and start just being the incredible being that you are.
Yes, well
And
said.
attitude of
Well done.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Bless your water, bless the air. Every morning I get up and I bless the animals and the trees and the essences. I bless the storms. If you don't have an attitude of gratitude, you might as well, you know, yeah. Well, let's put
Plus,
it this way.
being spiritual, there's a kind of a way of seeing us out there in the world that we are supposed to be Mother Teresa.
Yep.
No, no, we're not. But we're also not focusing on negativity and bad things, right?
Nope.
But we are a little bit of spiritual warriors, aren't we?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And a warrior does not mean war person. A
Exactly.
No.
warrior only means we're not soldiers. We are warriors. We will come to the defense of those who cannot defend themselves. We will step up when nobody else steps up. We are the ones that put ourselves in the line of danger, and also in the line of let's make change. So they should change warrior just because in our connotation, war means war, go to fight. No, a
Yeah.
true warrior is not one that even looks for a fight. But if they have to, we will defend
Yeah.
what we need to
Yeah.
defend. So
We will grab Archangel Michael's sword and we will defend. Yes.
absolutely.
Exactly.
I happen to carry a crystal sword, so you never want me to pull that. It's like the samurai. If the sword ever gets completely out of the sheath, you're in trouble. So if it starts to come out, you better look out. But if it comes all the way out, that's it.
Okay. That's good to remember. It's kind of you to warn us.
That's very nice of you, Corinne.
Hey, fortunately, I've never had to really pull it out, and I've pulled it almost all the way out, and I think that's enough to just get someone to step back a little bit. And
Yeah.
but I will defend humanity with all that I have. My greatest gift is love.
And you have that in abundance, and you are radiating it and you're sending it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from me. It comes from source. It comes
Mhm.
from the divine creation. And okay, enough about that. This I have loved talking about this and honoring water. And I don't know about you, but I have Facebook links that I can put you to, where they have like with Doctor. I forgot his name. How do you pronounce his name?
Emoto,
Emoto.
uh,
Okay, they
yeah,
have
Okay.
like every 6 months or something, they will have a 10-day fast celebrating water.
Really?
Yeah, and all over the world, it's called the Peace Project, and
Huh.
I mean, people are doing it. It's just they don't get the publicity that all of the other BS gets,
no. But we
and
are
No,
going to
no, that's
share
true.
those links
Mm.
now. We're going to share it on, we can share it in the comment section on YouTube, and we can share it on Facebook in the Cosmic
I
Guardians
will. I
Facebook
will
group.
send those to you. As soon as
Yeah.
as soon as my techie person gets back over here.
I
Yeah.
saw something, I just before we finish, I saw something that I forgot, and now when you're talking, I remember it. When I was looking at Masaru Emoto's site on Instagram, or was it Facebook, one of them, I will find it. There was another page with all kinds of words and sentences, positive sentences and words. They were meant to be put under a water class. So I
Mhm.
thought, I have bought a new printer, so I will print out all this is and use them under
Yay.
my water. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I will send it also, the link of that site, because there were beautiful things. There were angels, and there were words, and there were everything you can put under your, maybe a cup of coffee also. I don't know if we if we can bless the coffee also.
It has
I
water in
think
it.
we can, yeah,
Yeah,
we
you just want
can
to,
bless everything. We can bless our food as well.
Hmm.
of course.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, food contains different plants contain almost all water. Watermelon is I don't know the
Yeah.
percentage, but it's 70% water. So
that's true.
why not?
More than a human being.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
So I think that this was a wonderful discussion, right? I really love this.
I
And I
enjoyed it.
think we can have a little time coming in between here and then do this again and dig a little bit deeper even. It's something that we need to remind ourselves about, right?
yeah,
So ladies, what do you say? Are you feeling have you said everything you wanted to say?
yeah. I have.
Well, I do know
Okay.
that the water within my body is requesting that I think the show is over.
That's true.
That was that was a good way of putting it.
You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
water alert.
So so let's wrap this up then. And you have been watching Cosmic Sis-Stars at Cosmic Guardians with host Anne and Corrine and our wonderful, beautiful special guest Adelina, who has been with us so many times before. We have been talking about Masaru Emoto's Odyssey, the sacred dance of water. That's our topic. But of course, we have been talking about him, his work, and also a lady called Vera Austin, who actually are continuing his work, and she developed different techniques.
Mhm.
So you can see in the comment sections, I try to share as many links and things as I can. You can find any kind of information about us at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. You find the articles, you find the upcoming shows, you find past episodes, everything you want, right? Our next upcoming show here on Cosmic Guardians will be on Friday, October 11th in the US and Europe, October 12th in Australia, with the Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanic Show, and host Bob and Ann.
Oh
We
yeah.
will talk about when the crying stops, you will be free. That's going to be
True.
interesting. And of course, Karine will honor us with her presence every now and then, and maybe Adelina will do that sometime too if she wants to. Everybody's welcome, right? So we take your questions and free mini readings as usual. And I take that as the greatest sign, because if no one needs a mini reading, it means that we are sharing things that are very important, that are
That's
way
true.
more important than knowing if he's going to call me, she's going to call me, or things that are worldly. I don't mean to diminish those things when I say
No.
that, but we are digging deeper here. And I just love the fact that people are appreciating that. So we are going to be back with Cosmic Sis-Stars Show and host Anne and Karine on Wednesday next week, October 16th in the US and Europe, and October 17th in Australia. So we have made ourselves something here. We need to figure global times, right? But if you go to facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians, you always find the event, and that's going to show up in your time. So you will know when it's going to be your time, right? Wherever you are on the globe. And we will talk next week about shadows to sunshine, transforming negative thoughts into positive perspectives. Um, like a never-ending story. We always touch bases on many things, right?
Uh-huh.
And just to make it very short, Cosmic Sis-Stars go live on Wednesday and Thursdays in Australia. Bob Eden, the Spiritual Mechanics Show, goes live on Saturdays in Australia and Fridays, the Friday before, in Europe and US, right?
Yes.
So we always go live at facebook.com/Cosmic Guardians and youtube.com/@Angel Place on Earth. You know, guys, the little at thing, like when we have the email address, right?
Yeah.
You can follow and join Cosmic Guardians group on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Cosmic Guardians. I sound like a parrot. But anyway, we thank you so much. Thank you, ladies, first of all. And we thank you so much for watching us. And see you soon. And I say love, life, peace, and joy to everyone. What do you ladies say?
Love, life,
Yeah, the
peace, and
same.
laughter. Mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we see you. We see you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we hear
So-
you.
Drink some water.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.